Hey everyone, it's Any aka the Not Trader, back again with another video, and we're back with another pick of the week. Now before I get into my pick of the week, you know what I'm going to ask you to do: like and subscribe to this video, and also follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook at the Not Trader on all social media platforms. Now let's get right back into the video. So as you guys know, my pick of the week last week was CROX, and so far I've made a whopping £10. It's still taking a while for it to get to where I want it to go. I still have a profit target of £338. I was supposed to enter at £28,000, but I think I entered a little bit higher than that. It's just been fluctuating above the 15-day simple moving average on the 4-hour chart for some time. So nothing really has happened so far, but I think as it approaches earnings, what I think will happen, I'm going to do what I said I wouldn't do normally, and I'm going to hold it into earnings, because I do believe it's going to spike up, because CROX has really had been having some good reports, fundamental information going on about CROX. So you can just read up on that. But yeah, CROX has been having a good year and had a good year last year. So I believe that's going to go up, and all the technical analysis tells me it's going to go up. So I might have to hold it into earnings on Thursday. I believe it's on Thursday, yeah, on the 28th. So right now, as long as it's holding above the the daily and the 4-hour 15-day simple moving average, which is the purple line, I'm kind of happy just to hold it and just see what happens. I haven't moved my stop loss at all. Yeah, I haven't moved my stop loss at all, and so I haven't moved my stop loss at all, and I'll keep my stop loss where it is. Whatever happens, my stop loss stays where it's at. So as you can see on like the 4-hour chart, it's just been it's lost a little bit of momentum, but it stayed above the 15-day simple moving average. If it drops below that, then I'll see that's a sign that it's lost momentum and it's going to sell off. But right now, we're still using it as a support, so I'm happy with that as it is right now. If I go down into like a smaller time frame, as you can see, there's like a bed that has been created here. So it's found a little bit of a support at this line here. So I'm happy to just kind of let it stay here. And the 180-day simple moving average is still underneath it as a support. So hopefully, as I said, when it hits the 28th of February, which is earnings day, I'm expecting to spike up for a profit, and then I'll take my profit there. So we'll just have to see how it goes with CROX. Now, if you saw my bonanza video, my swing trade bonanza video, my last video, hit the card on the top right hand corner if you want to see that video. I went through quite a few different stocks that I saw midweek that had potential swing trading opportunities. Quite a few of them actually reversed eventually, but one I'm still looking at with kind of hopeful prospect is OHI. If you look at the weekly, let's go to the weekly first. It's just been making high highs. One thing to take into consideration though, on the weekly, as you can see here, even though it's been making high highs, the high highs has been diminishing, and you can see here that the MACD, even though it's rising at a slower rate, and so is the RSI. So that's something to take into consideration. This could tell us that maybe the momentum is slowing down as to the amount of gains it's ready to make. So it may do another push up, but it may not push up higher than the last highest high. So that's something to take into consideration. So I'm going to plot a red line here. This just tells me that this is the highest point it's been so far. So it's just an indication to know where the all-time high has been. So yeah, that's something to take into consideration. So concurving MACD and RSI showing a slowdown in momentum on the weekly chart. On the daily, once again, as you can see, ascending channel pattern. You know, I love these patterns, but if I'm honest, I don't know if I believe that this next upward motion is going to go past the previous one based on what I said on the weekly chart. So I'm taking it with a pinch of salt. So which is why I've plotted a line here that shows the previous peak that hit the resistance line. So that at $37.67, 69, or 38 if you want to round it up. So once again, what I look for before I'd enter a trade like this would be for it to, on the 4-hour chart, it would need to pass the 15-day simple moving average, come back down, consolidate, and that's exactly what it's done here. So this is a prime entry point. I'm not going to enter this trade just because I'm in CROX right now, but I'm going to write it down anyway and see how it goes. But I would, this is for all intents and purposes is my pick of the week, because it's giving me the same kind of pattern that CROX has given me. But I'd probably be more conservative and maybe make my stop loss a little bit shorter than $40, maybe less than that. I could probably maybe even halfway, because I do believe what I think will happen is that it's going to rise up and then lose momentum maybe halfway and then start coming down. That's just my assumption, just based on the weekly chart that I've seen. So, but it's really hard to tell where it will decide to change direction. It may double top at here. It may come a little bit shorter. It may come up to here at the previous resistance, and then maybe kind of make a kind of head and shoulders type pattern. I'm not really sure, so that's why I'm a bit. I think it's going to rise, but I'm not sure how much it's going to rise by. So this one would be with a pinch of salt. Actually, having said that, all my pick of the weeks I've been more confident with. So I'm gonna earmark this. This is not going to be my pick of the week because I believe it's going to rise, but I'm not sure how much. So I wouldn't want to promote this trade when I'm not sure how far it's going, because the risk to reward is very important, and if I don't know where I see a limit at, then it's hard to really gauge risk to reward ratio. So this, I'd say you just add this to your watch list potentially. Well, I won't suggest it because I don't give suggestions, but I've had this on my watch list and I'm just following this, but I'm not going to make the trade at the moment. Another one to look at was LOCO. This is another one that I looked at previously. So there's a lot of lines here, so I'm going to delete this Fibonacci. As you can see here, it found support at $14.29, and this was also a previous resistance. So this is a key level here. I believe it's going to rise some more. Let's look at the weekly chart first of all. Once again, the weekly chart's kind of showing the same kind of chart as OHI, where it's been making high highs, but it looks like momentum slowing down. I might be wrong in thinking this, but come on, look at the MACD, look at the RSI. It's momentum slowing down. So, and even though the 1J simple moving average is curving upwards on a weekly, yeah, momentum slowing down. So I'm still on the assumption that, to be honest, for all of these, all three of these charts that I've shown you, that it's going to rise, but maybe not rise to new highs. Rise a little bit and then break out of the pattern to the downside, just based off the weekly pattern, because I feel that momentum slowing down. If you look at it here, I could plot a couple more lines that could corroborate my argument. So the MACD, this is something, yeah, well this is going up, this is kind of level, but the MACD is kind of down. I don't know, maybe it's just something I'm looking into and there's nothing there, but this is telling me that the next one's going to be a little bit less as well. So this may go up, but maybe it will just go to here and break out to the downside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set an alert on the line here, on this line here. So if it breaks through this line, I'll be given an alert. So what I'm expecting here, I expect it to rise a little bit. Maybe it might not even rise past it. It may use the 15-day simple moving exponential moving average as a support, as a resistance, and then break to the downside. For example of what I'm talking about, well, I look at something like Next. Now, ignore all that's happened here. What I would like to show you is that at Next, it was following this peak and trough channel, and then eventually it just started capitulating at the support, and then it broke out downwards, went down, came back up, hit the previous channel support line, and treated it as a resistance, then started coming back down again. So that's what I expect to happen for the previous stock that I was just talking about. What was that one again? You guys know it. You can rewind. So right now, I haven't really got any solid pick of the weeks because I'm in a contentious pace where I feel like the stocks that I'm following that are trending upwards are losing momentum, and I feel that they're going to break out to the downside at any time. So I'd rather not trade them with any long bias when I feel that there's a shorting opportunity on the horizon. So right now, the only one I'm really following is CROX. I believe that one's going to shoot up based on earnings coming up soon. And let me actually do a quick recap on the first swing trade pick of the week I did of 2018, which was Hertz. As you can see here, it shot up, and what I found was that the initial trade that I made, I thought it was going to just carry on rising here. It was a bit naive of me to think that when I knew earnings was coming up a couple weeks later. But what it actually did was when it was rising and then coming back down, rising, coming back down, it was making an ascending triangle. So as it carried on making the ascending triangle, it eventually reached its peak and then broke out to the upside, which is what I'd expect from an ascending triangle. If you know anything about chart patterns, that's what you'd expect from an ascending triangle. But I only identified this a little bit too late to really make a play on it. So if I identified this a little bit earlier, then I would have known how to trade this. I could have swung this up, shorted this here, swung it up, shorted it here, just make profit as it keeps hitting the support and resistance of this ascending triangle. But I only identified it a bit too late, and when it broke out, it's broken out now. So 25th is when the earnings come. So I expect this probably to go up a little bit more, or maybe break down. I'm not sure. I've already looked at the fundamentals for Hertz, so I'll just watch this just out of interest, because this was the first one that I first pick of the week of 2019 that I showed. So anyway, this has been a pretty long one. I hope you liked this video. I haven't really picked one, but I've just done a little bit of analysis on a couple of stocks that I'm watching on my watch list. If you have any charts that you think that I should, or any stocks that you think I should add to my watch list, please mention them in the comment section below, and maybe I'll review them or even just check them out, and I'll maybe add them to my watch list and review them in the next video. But yeah, it's any aka Not Trader out.